When you begin to understand the essence of certainty and conviction, you'll realize it is not about being loud, dominant, or controlling. It's about something far more profound. It's about standing in the quiet power of knowing who you are and refusing to let the world shake that foundation. Every woman, though she may never put it into words, secretly dreams of a man who radiates this type of inner certainty. Why? Because certainty is stability. Certainty is security. Certainty is the invisible signal that says, no matter what happens, I know where I'm going, I know who I am. And when a man embodies that, he becomes magnetic without trying. Think for a moment about how most people live. They drift. They wake up each morning in their mood. Their behavior, their outlook is dictated by circumstances. If it's sunny, they feel good. If it's raining, they feel down. If things go their way, they're confident. If things don't, they lose all hope. That's not conviction. That's dependency. And the truth is, women can sense it immediately. When a man doesn't have his own anchor, he becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability without direction feels unsafe. Certainty is the opposite of that. It says, I am not swayed by the temporary. I am led by the permanent. I am guided by a vision that do not change when the weather changes. That steadiness is what makes a woman feel she can lean into him without fear of collapse. Certainty also has a rhythm to it. You can hear it in the way a man speaks. When he talks, there's no hesitation in his words, not because he knows everything, but because he knows what he believes. You can see it in the way he walks into a room. He doesn't seek validation from every glance. He carries an energy that says, I am enough as I am, and I don't need you to tell me. And it's not arrogance, it's alignment. A man with conviction doesn't need to force himself to appear confident because he is confident, not in the sense of being perfect, but in the sense of being rooted. Every woman dreams of this, though she will never come out and say, I want a man with certainty. Instead, she'll say things like, I want to feel safe, or I want to feel secure, or I want to know he's got me. All of those are just reflections of her desire for a man who knows himself so deeply that he doesn't waver when the world tests him. Life will test you. Finances will test you. Tense responsibilities will test you. And it is in those moments that certainty either collapses or shines. When you remain consistent in who you are. When you refuse to abandon your core values. When you keep your direction even when storms come. That is when she looks at you differently. That is when admiration is born. Conviction is not built overnight. It is carved from the decisions you make every single day. Do you do what you said you would do even when it's inconvenient? Do you hold yourself to a higher standard even when no one is watching? Do you stand on principle even if it costs you something? That's how conviction is formed. It's 1,000 small choices, 1,000 tiny disciplines stacked one on top of the other until they create a man who is unmovable. And when a woman encounters that, it's not just attractive, it's unforgettable. Consider how rare certainty has become in today's world. Everywhere you look, people are uncertain. They're uncertain about their careers, their health, their relationship, their own identity. They are tossed and turned by every new opinion, every new trend, every new challenge. But a man of conviction doesn't live like that. He is aware of the world around him, but he is not dictated by it. His compass is internal. His map is self-drawn. He doesn't need constant direction from others, but he's always using his path. That kind of certainty is like oxygen to a woman because it gives her the space to relax. She doesn't have to wonder if you'll change tomorrow, if you'll fold under pressure, if you'll lose yourself when things get tough. She can see that your core is steady, and that steadiness makes her want to trust. This isn't about perfection. A man with conviction isn't flawless. He makes mistakes, but he doesn't abandon himself when he does. He takes ownership, he learns, and he keeps moving forward. That's conviction in action. It's not that you'll never fall. It's that you'll never stay down. That resilience is what she admires more than anything. It's the quiet assurance that no matter what happens, you will not be broken. And when she senses that in you, she secretly dreams of being by your side because being with you feels like standing on solid ground. Certainty and conviction also create direction. Without them, life is scattered. You chase one thing today, another thing tomorrow, and nothing ever feels consistent. But when you know who you are, you know what you want, and you know where you're going, everything begins to align. That alignment is what makes your presence undeniable. People notice it. They may not be able to explain it, but they feel it. And women especially are drawn to it because it represents something they can't manufacture for you. It's either real or it isn't. And when it's real, it cannot be ignored. The beauty of certainty is that it liberates not just you, but everyone around you. When you're certain, she doesn't have to carry the burden of always leading, always guessing, always second guessing. She can step into her feminine nature fully because your certainty creates the container. She may never admit this openly, but she longs for it deeply. She dreams of a man who carries himself with the kind of conviction that allows her to simply be. That's the gift of certainty. It doesn't just transform you. It transforms every relationship you touch. Emotional leadership is one of the most overlooked yet most powerful qualities a man can possess. And though a woman may never voice it directly, she secretly desires it in the man she chooses to stand beside. Emotional leadership is not about controlling another person's emotions. It's about being the steady hand in the storm. The one who can hold composure when chaos tries to pull everything apart. Life is filled with uncertainty, conflict, disappointments, and setbacks. And a man who loses himself emotionally at every turn creates instability, not security. But a man who can regulate himself, who can carry calm energy, even when the world is heavy, becomes a source of direction that a woman can lean on without hesitation. Think about how most people react to problems. They panic. They raise their voice. They let anger take over. They spiral into fear and doubt. But emotional leadership is the opposite of that. It is the strength to remain grounded when others lose their balance. It is the discipline of not allowing temporary emotions to dictate permanent actions. A woman longs for a man who can look at a challenge, breathe, and choose clarity over chaos. She may never say it out loud, but deep down, she wants the reassurance that when life tests her, the man beside her won't collapse emotionally, but will stand tall and composed. This doesn't mean emotional leadership is about being cold or detached. Quite the opposite. It is about being deeply aware of emotions, but not ruled by them. A man who possesses this quality knows how to empathize without drowning in negativity. He knows how to comfort without becoming overwhelmed. He knows how to listen, how to validate, and how to hold space without trying to fix everything immediately. That balance of strength and sensitivity is what makes emotional leadership so rare and so powerful. When a woman encounters it, she feels safe because she knows her emotions won't scare him away, nor will his emotions destabilize the relationship. The truth is, women are highly intuitive. They can sense instability in a man faster than words can explain it. If he is quick to anger, she feels it. If he is quick to crumble under pressure, she notices it. If he is easily swayed by frustration or fear, she feels insecure around him. But when a man demonstrates mastery over his own emotional state, when he doesn't let small things derail him, when he chooses wisdom over reaction, he sends a signal of safety and strength that no words can replace. She may never say, "I want a man with emotional leadership." But what she will say is, "I just want to feel safe with him." And that safety is born from emotional steadiness. A man who leads emotionally also brings order into moments of confusion. Imagine an argument, a heated disagreement, or a stressful situation. Without emotional leadership, everything escalates. Voices rise, blame is thrown, and wounds are created. But with emotional leadership, the dynamic changes. Instead of reacting, the man listens. Instead of escalating, he de-escalates. Instead of blaming, he takes responsibility where necessary and redirects the energy toward resolution. This does not mean he allows himself to be walked over, but it means he leads the emotional temperature of the relationship. He refuses to let arguments spiral out of control and instead guides them toward understanding and solutions. This is attractive on a level that goes beyond the surface. A woman may find a man's looks, charm, or material success appealing, but none of those things create lasting security if he lacks emotional leadership. She dreams of a man who can hold her during her storms, who doesn't abandon her when emotions run high, and who doesn't feed fire with fire. That dream is rarely spoken, but it lies within her because deep down, every woman longs for stability in a world that is already unstable enough. It is important to understand that emotional leadership doesn't mean a man hides his emotions or pretends to be unaffected. In fact, a man who hides his emotions becomes closed off and unreachable. True leadership in this area means being honest about what you feel, but choosing how to express it in a way that uplifts rather than destroys. Anger can be acknowledged without turning into aggression. Fear can be admitted without becoming paralyzing. Sadness can be shared without collapsing into despair. That level of maturity shows her that you don't run from your humanity, but you also don't let it control you. Another element of emotional leadership is consistency. A man who is unpredictable emotionally creates a fragile environment. If she never knows what mood you'll be in, she begins to walk on eggshells, and that tension erodes connection over time. But when you are consistent, calm, steady, predictable in your responses, she feels a deep trust begin to grow. That trust allows her to relax, to open up more fully, and to respect you more deeply. The consistency of your emotional leadership tells her that no matter what comes, she can count on your stability. Think of emotional leadership like being the thermostat rather than the thermometer. A thermometer only reflects the temperature. It reacts. A thermostat sets the temperature. It leads. Most people live like thermometers, reflecting whatever is happening around them. If things are stressful, they're stressed. If things are negative, they're negative. But a man of emotional leadership is a thermostat. He sets the tone. He decides the emotional climate. And once that energy is set, people around him begin to adjust to it. That is why women are so deeply drawn to this quality, even if they don't know how to name it. When you master emotional leadership, you are no longer at the mercy of life's ups and downs. You begin to respond rather than react. You become a guide rather than a follower of chaos. And as you embody that, you naturally create a space of safety, strength, and stability that every woman secretly dreams of experiencing in a man. Discipline and self-mastery are qualities that separate men who drift aimlessly from men who command respect without demanding it. Every woman may not say it out loud, but she notices instantly when a man has control over himself. Discipline is not about being harsh or rigid. It's about showing that you are the kind of man who doesn't let impulses, laziness, or distractions run your life. It is about proving that you can be trusted. Because if you can lead yourself, you can be trusted to lead anything else. A man without discipline may have charm, looks, or words, but when she sees inconsistency, she knows deep down he lacks the foundation she secretly dreams of. Think about what discipline really means. It means waking up and doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. It means following through on promises, not just to others, but to yourself. It means structuring your life in a way that reflects intention rather than chaos. A disciplined man doesn't just talk about goals, he aligns his daily actions with them. He doesn't just wish for success, he builds habits that create it. And that level of consistency is magnetic, because women know that a man who can conquer himself is far more powerful than a man who tries to conquer the world, but can't even manage his own habits. Self-mastery begins with small choices. Do you control your appetite, or does it control you? Do you master your time, or does it slip away in endless distraction? Do you control your emotions, or do they erupt and dictate your behavior? These little moments are where true mastery is tested. Every woman is watching, not in a judgmental way, but in a deeply intuitive way. She can sense if your words are backed by discipline or if they're just empty noise. A man who disciplines himself in health, in finances, in habits, and in mindset gives off an energy of reliability. Reliability creates trust, and trust is the seed of attraction that runs deeper than looks or charm. Consider how discipline shapes presence. A man who takes care of his body, who eats with control, who exercises regularly, who invests in himself, carries an aura of strength that cannot be faked. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. His appearance, his energy, his focus all reflect that he values himself enough to maintain discipline. A woman might never say, I want a man who works out and wakes up early, but she will say, I want a man who has his life together. And that's exactly what discipline communicates without a word being spoken. Financial discipline is another element of self-mastery. It's not about being rich. It's about being responsible. A man who spends recklessly, who lives paycheck to paycheck with no sense of order, communicates instability. But a man who budgets, saves, invests, and plans, even on a modest income, communicates foresight and control. A woman doesn't dream of a man who needs rescuing. She dreams of a man who builds, who manages, who can be trusted with more because he proves faithful with little. That financial order is discipline expressed in numbers, and it speaks volumes about the kind of leader he is. Discipline in emotion may be the most important form of all. Life will bring frustration, anger, disappointment, and temptation. The man who cannot master these emotions becomes unpredictable and dangerous to trust. But the man who disciplines himself to pause, to reflect, to respond rather than react becomes a fortress. He doesn't let anger destroy a relationship. He doesn't let fear paralyze him. And he doesn't let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. That kind of mastery is rare, but when it's present, it changes everything. It reassures her that no matter how chaotic the outside world becomes, he will not crumble internally. Self-mastery also includes discipline and focus. The modern world is designed to scatter attention, to make men weak through endless distractions. A man who can control his attention, who can choose purpose over procrastination, shows strength in a world that constantly tempts weakness. Women notice when a man is easily swayed by every distraction because it shows lack of control. But when she sees a man focused on his mission, committed to growth, consistent in his pursuit, she feels something rare, respect. And respect is one of the deepest forms of attraction. Discipline creates freedom. It may seem paradoxical, but when you discipline yourself, you free yourself. You free yourself from being a slave to impulse. You free yourself from the chaos of living without order. You free yourself from the consequences of neglect. That freedom is powerful because it allows you to show up consistently. And that consistency is what makes her feel secure. She may never phrase it as, I want a man with self-mastery, but she will always be drawn to the man who proves through his actions that he governs himself. Every woman dreams of a man who is strong, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. That strength does not come from luck or charm. It comes from discipline. It comes from saying no to what weakens you and yes to what strengthens you. It comes from mastering yourself before trying to master anything else. And when you embody that level of discipline, you create an unshakable presence that cannot be ignored. A woman feels it, she admires it, and though she may never admit it outright, she dreams of being with a man who is disciplined enough to lead himself and strong enough to lead her too. Vision and ambition are two qualities that ignite a man's presence in a way that nothing else can. A woman may never openly admit it, but she is drawn deeply to a man who wakes up with purpose, who refuses to drift through life without direction, who knows where he is going even when the path is not yet fully visible. Vision is not just about having dreams, it is about seeing beyond the present moment, having the ability to imagine what could be, and then carrying the discipline and determination to move toward it. Ambition is the fire that fuels that vision, the relentless drive that pushes a man to build, create, and expand rather than settle for mediocrity. A woman secretly longs for a man like this because his vision inspires her, and his ambition assures her that the future with him will never be stagnant. Think of the difference between a man who has no vision and one who does. A man without vision drifts like a leaf in the wind. His life is shaped by circumstances, by other people's decisions, by whatever happens to come his way. He wakes up without a clear direction. He works without passion. He lives without a greater sense of meaning. A woman may tolerate that for a time, but she will never admire it. On the other hand, A man with vision commands respect without saying a word, even if he is not yet where he wants to be. The fact that he carries a sense of direction changes everything. His energy is different. His words have weight. His steps have purpose. A woman feels this instantly. She feels the pull of a man who is going somewhere. Ambition is the force that turns vision into reality. It's one thing to see possibilities, but it's another to pursue them with relentless energy. Ambition means you don't settle for average. You don't shrink your dreams to fit comfort zones. You push forward, even when it's hard, even when the world doubts you, even when you could take the easy route. That drive is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. A man with ambition creates momentum, and momentum is magnetic. A woman may not articulate it this way, but she is drawn to a man who has fire in his eyes, who is chasing something bigger than himself, because that energy spills over to every part of life. Vision and ambition also communicate leadership. A man who knows where he's going naturally inspires confidence in others. People want to follow someone who has direction, who has clarity, who isn't just living by chance. A woman especially feels this pull because it assures her that if she joins him, she isn't signing up for stagnation. She is signing up for growth, for adventure, for forward movement. She wants to feel that life with him will mean progress, not regression. She may never say it, but what she secretly desires is a man who can look beyond the present and lead towards something greater. A man with vision does not get distracted easily. He may enjoy pleasures, but they never pull him off course. He may face setbacks, but they never erase his direction. His ambition keeps him pressing forward. His vision keeps him anchored to the bigger picture. That steadiness is what makes him attractive in a way that surface-level traits never can. Looks may fade, charm may wear thin, but a man's vision and ambition continue to inspire long after everything else changes. There is also something deeply masculine about creating. A man with vision is always building, whether it's a business, a mission, a legacy, or even just a stronger version of himself. He has an inner drive to expand, to make something meaningful out of his time on earth. That creative energy is powerful because it shows responsibility. It shows that he is not content to simply consume life, but is determined to contribute something to it. A woman feels this, and it awakens admiration in her because she knows instinctively that a man with vision can build not just for himself, but for those he loves. Ambition also carries with it resilience. No vision is achieved without obstacles. No ambition survives without struggle. The man who continues to push forward despite setbacks, who continues to refine his vision when things don't go as planned, who refuses to quit, proves himself through perseverance. That resilience is attractive because it demonstrates that he will not fold under pressure. A woman secretly dreams of a man who can endure, who can keep striving, who will not abandon his mission when life becomes heavy. Vision is also contagious. When you have it, people around you catch it. It inspires belief in others. It stirs excitement and awakens possibilities. A woman who connects with a man of vision finds herself dreaming bigger too. She feels empowered, energized, and expanded simply by being in his presence. It's not just about what he is building for himself. It's about how his vision elevates everything around him. That elevation is something she deeply desires, even if she never puts it into words. Vision and ambition, when combined with discipline, transform a man into a force. They make him rare because most people are content with average, comfortable with safe, unwilling to pursue the extraordinary. But the man who lives with vision and ambition stands out, and she notices him. He may not boast about it, but she feels it in the way he carries himself, in the way he talks about the future, in the way he refuses to settle. That energy cannot be hidden, and it cannot be faked. It is real, and it is powerful. Every woman deep down dreams of a man who is not just living for today, but is building for tomorrow. She dreams of a man who won't let comfort kill his fire, who won't let failure steal his drive, who won't let fear keep him small. That man with vision in his mind and ambition in his heart awakens something in her that few men ever touch. And though she may never openly admit it, she longs for a man who sees further, who dreams bigger, and who dares to chase something extraordinary. Presence and authenticity are two qualities that carry a power most men underestimate. And yet they are exactly what a woman secretly craves in the man she dreams of. Presence means you are fully there, not halfway distracted, not buried in your phone, not lost in your thoughts about tomorrow. It means when you are with her, she feels you. She senses that your attention is on her and not scattered elsewhere. Authenticity means you show up as yourself, not as a character, not as a mask, not as who you think she wants you to be, but as the real you, unpolished, genuine, honest. These two traits together create a connection that is rare because in a world filled with noise, performance, and distraction, very few men embody them. Presence is not about physical proximity. It is about energy. You can sit next to someone and still not be present with them. Presence is eye contact that lingers. It's listening without waiting for your turn to respond. It's being attuned to the moment instead of rushing past it. A woman feels it immediately when a man is truly present with her. She feels valued, seen, understood. She doesn't have to fight for his attention because he gives it freely. That level of presence is magnetic because it communicates that you are confident enough to slow down, to focus, to give your energy without being restless or distracted. Authenticity is equally powerful. Many men hide behind an image. They project confidence they don't feel. They pretend to have it all together. They say what they think will impress her, but deep down, she can see through it. Women have an intuition that picks up on falseness instantly. Authenticity doesn't mean you share every detail of your life or wear your weaknesses on your sleeve. It means you are congruent. Your words match your actions. Your character matches your behavior. Your energy matches your intentions. When a man is authentic, he becomes trustworthy because she never feels like she has to decode or second guess him. The combination of presence and authenticity creates safety. When a woman senses that a man is truly present, she feels that she matters. When she senses that he is authentic, she feels that she can relax because she isn't dealing with a mask. She's dealing with the real thing. Together, these qualities allow her to lower her guard, to open herself more fully, to trust more deeply. And this is what she secretly dreams of, even if she doesn't articulate it in these exact words. She dreams of being with someone who makes her feel like she is in the company of a man who is grounded, real, and unafraid to be himself. Presence also requires strength, because to be present is to resist distraction. It means you are not constantly pulled by external noise, by the urge to check your phone, by the endless demand of tasks. It means you choose to give your attention fully to the person in front of you. That choice communicates discipline and respect. A woman doesn't just want attention in fleeting moments. She dreams of a man who is consistently capable of being there, who doesn't withdraw emotionally, who doesn't fade away when she needs it most. Presence is a silent message that says, you are important enough for me to stop everything else and just be here. Authenticity also demands courage. It is easy to wear a mask, to perform a role, to present only the parts of yourself that seem attractive. But it takes courage to let someone see the real you, the flaws, the doubts, the imperfections alongside the strengths. Authenticity doesn't weaken you. It strengthens you because it shows self-acceptance. A woman dreams of a man who doesn't need to pretend, who doesn't hide behind lies or exaggerations, who is comfortable enough in his skin to say, this is who I am, and I'm not afraid to show it. That kind of honesty builds respect at surface level charm never could. Presence and authenticity also fuel intimacy on every level. Emotional intimacy grows when she feels heard and understood. Physical intimacy deepens when she senses that he is genuinely connected rather than just going through motions. Spiritual intimacy develops when she knows she is encountering a man who is real, not a fade. These layers of intimacy are built not on gifts, not on words, not on material success, but on the ability to be fully there and to be fully yourself. The world is filled with men who are absent even when they are physically present, men who wear masks to impress, men who perform instead of live authentically. That is why presence and authenticity are so rare and so deeply desired. When she encounters them, it feels different. It feels grounding. It feels refreshing. It feels like she can exhale. And that is why she secretly dreams of a man like this, even if she doesn't frame it in those exact terms. She longs for the kind of connection that only presence and authenticity can create, because that connection is real, lasting, and unshakable. Unshakable integrity is the foundation upon which everything else stands. And though many people talk about wanting honesty or trustworthiness, the truth is deeper than that. Integrity is not just about telling the truth. It's about living in alignment with your words, your principles, and your commitments. It's about being the same person when no one is watching as you are, when the world is paying attention. Every woman may not put it into words, but she secretly dreams of a man who embodies this quality, because integrity is what makes her feel secure in ways that looks, charm, or success never could. Integrity begins with the simplest thing, keeping your word. When you say you're going to do something, do you do it? When you make a promise, do you honor it even when it's inconvenient? Integrity shows up in those moments where it would be easier to cut corners, easier to tell a small lie, easier to break a promise. A man of integrity doesn't take the easy way out. He chooses the harder path because his word means something to him, and that consistency builds trust over time. A woman may never openly say it, but she notices immediately whether your actions line up with your words, and her level of respect for you is determined by that alignment. Unshakable integrity also means living by principle, not just preference. Most men are guided by how they feel in the moment. If it's convenient, they'll do the right thing. But if it costs them something, they shift. A man of integrity doesn't operate that way. His life is rooted in principles that don't change with circumstances. If honesty is his standard, he doesn't abandon it when lying would be easier. If loyalty is his standard, he doesn't betray it when temptation arises. That kind of consistency creates an aura of strength because it shows he cannot be bought, swayed, or broken by pressure. A woman feels this even if she doesn't say it. And it gives her confidence that his loyalty to her will be as steady as his loyalty to his principles. Integrity also shapes how a man treats people. It's easy to show kindness when someone has something to offer, but integrity is revealed in how you treat those who can give you nothing in return. Do you respect the waiter? Do you acknowledge the janitor? Do you honor your commitments even to people who don't hold power over you? These small details say more about your character than grand gestures ever could. A man of integrity treats people with fairness and respect across the board, and that is a trait women admire deeply, even if they don't always verbalize it. Unshakable integrity is also about accountability. No man is perfect, and integrity doesn't mean you never make mistakes. What defines you is how you handle them. Do you own up to your failures, or do you make excuses? Do you admit when you're wrong, or do you try to hide it? A man who takes responsibility instead of shifting blame demonstrates maturity, strength, and character. A woman doesn't expect perfection, But she secretly dreams of a man who can admit fault, learn, and grow without running from responsibility. That kind of accountability is rare, and it sets you apart in a world where most people hide from their own mistakes. Another dimension of integrity is loyalty. Not just loyalty in relationships, but loyalty in general, loyalty to your family, to your friends, to your mission. A man with integrity doesn't betray trust for temporary pleasure or quick gain. He understands that loyalty is the glue that holds bonds together. When a woman senses that loyalty in you, she feels safe because she knows you are not easily swayed by temptation or convenience. She knows that you can be trusted with her heart because you've proven you can be trusted with much more. Integrity is also about consistency of character. Anyone can act virtuous for a short period of time, but can you sustain it? Do you show up the same way across weeks, months, and years? Are you the same man in private as you are in public? That consistency builds a reputation, and reputation is simply integrity expressed over time. Women instinctively dream of a man who doesn't just impress in the beginning, but continues to show the same level of honor, respect, and trustworthiness long after the first impression fades. It's important to realize that integrity is not loud, but it is powerful. You don't need to declare that you have it. It reveals itself in your actions and your choices, in the way people speak about you when you're not in the room. A man with unshakable integrity doesn't chase approval. He simply lives in alignment with what he knows is right. That quiet strength speaks louder than any words. It's the invisible foundation upon which true confidence and leadership are built. Every woman secretly longs for that stability. She wants to know that the man she is will not betray her trust, will not compromise his principles, will not live one way in public and another in private. She may not say it out loud, but what she craves is the assurance that your character is steady, that your word can be relied on, that your integrity is not negotiable. Because with that kind of man, she can rest, she can trust, she can dream alongside him, knowing that his foundation will not shift with time or circumstance.